Hey everybody, it's B Diz the Rockstar, part of SuperObvious. In this video, we're talking about how Jill could have been Jigsaw in the Saw franchise. Let's go.
I'll be right back.
Hello, Detective Banks.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
As you know, Jill was the wife of John Kramer, aka Jigsaw. Throughout the timeline, in current time or flashbacks, John is diagnosed with cancer and is dying. He also tried talking to insurance companies, but is refused any kind of medical coverage even when he presents options that seem pretty promising. John was screwed out of getting medical help, which was in the way when his time was already running out. But with the carousel trap and Williams being injected with chemicals until he dies, they were all taken care of. In Saw 4, when Jill is leaving the health clinic for the night, a known junkie, Cecil, convinces Jill to get his jacket that was left inside from earlier. During this, he forces his way in to look for drugs, and during this, he smashes the door into a very pregnant Jill that is around 7 months pregnant and is the reason Jill and John lose their baby. As you know, John makes Cecil pay with a knife chair trap. A big part of the motivation for Jill to become Jigsaw could be the junkies. In 4, before they lost their baby, John had told Jill to focus on her life and not to try and help addicts reach recovery. If Jill would have listened to John, their baby would have survived and been born to start their family. Leading up to Jill becoming Jigsaw, she could have had flashbacks remembering this, and this would make her angry because she didn't listen to him. The first few victims of Jill would be junkies, just like how John had Amanda. If someone survived her trap, then that person is rehabilitated, appreciates their life more, and wants to help Jill with the work she wants to do. There was also the blackmailing letter that Hoffman wrote for Amanda, which threatened to let John know that Amanda was with Cecil the night John and Jill's baby Gideon died. And when Jill meets with John's executor, Bernie Feldman, so she can view John's will and farewell video that had all the numbered envelopes, in which we know later the reverse bear trap. When she opened the box, it seemed like it hinted that something was changing about her. When Hoffman confronted her about the box, she gave him 5 envelopes, which all contained the next victims in the games, but she kept the 6th envelope. Jill goes to the hospital to give Gordon a tape which had John asking for him to watch over Jill if she is ever in any danger or if something happens to her. After that, Jill goes to the Rowan Zoological Institute where the monitors show the game that's still going on with Williams. She leaves a letter to Hoffman. When he sits down to read it, she shocks him. He wakes up bound to a chair, and Jill drops the bombshell that there was a 6th letter, which was for Hoffman to be tested. She puts the reverse bear trap on him and teases him with the key, which would unlock it. She is doing this so Hoffman doesn't have a chance to get out of the trap like Amanda did in the first one. Jill leaves before confirming Hoffman to die in the trap. Hoffman smashes his hand, forces the trap between bars and a door window so it doesn't completely open, but his hand is smashed and the right side of his cheek is completely ripped and split open. Jill later tells Matt Gibson, who works for Eternal Affairs, that Hoffman is one of John's main successors and is involved with a lot of the murderers from victims in the Jigsaw traps. She wants complete protection if she gives valuable info that could stop Hoffman. She also wants immunity because Strom was threatening to lock her away because all the accusations Strom told Jill about charges she would be facing. Hoffman sent a disc for Gibson to see, and it's Hoffman demanding for them to give him Jill to stop the next game from happening. Hoffman made a machine gun go off, killing Gibson and several police officers. Also, Hoffman stabbing a bunch of law enforcement personnel while making his way to Jill, who was in a cell. Jill had a dream of being brutally killed by Hoffman in a Jigsaw trap. Towards the last chunk of Jill's character, Jill is being hunted down by Mark Hoffman, who wants her dead. Hoffman eventually finds Jill and beats her up enough to strap her into a chair and put the reverse bear trap on her. With no chance of escaping, the bear trap opens up, making her face explode, killing her. As John requested, if anything had happened to Jill, Gordon and a few members dressed in the pig robe outfits knocked out Hoffman, and when he wakes up, he is in the same room, shackled by the ankle, just like Gordon was when he was being tested in the first movie. Gordon throws the saw down the hallway so Hoffman can't get it and says the trademark "game over," leaving Hoffman to rot. Even though we see flashbacks of him as the franchise goes, John officially died at the climax of Saw 3. I think the death of John and the death of their unborn child would have been enough for Jill to continue John's work. Obviously, she isn't an engineer like John, so she couldn't construct these traps by herself. but she could find ways to have people roped in to being involved to help, which was something John did a lot of the time. John had followers such as Hoffman, Logan, Gordon, and of course Amanda that helped him with putting all the pieces of a plan together, especially physical stuff that John couldn't do because of his condition, especially towards the last parts of his life. Instead of Jill being afraid of Hoffman, she could have tried to be stronger and have some secret accomplices to take out Hoffman in a clever way since he was the threat. Hoffman had been exposed at this point as the current Jigsaw, so he couldn't hide behind the protection and resources of the police department. Technically, Jill and Hoffman had their standoff putting each other in the reverse bear trap, but I feel like there could have been more to it. And with a lot of the stuff I said, it would have been cool to see Jill go from being against the traps and morals John had to understanding his intent as far as quote-unquote helping people and becoming Jigsaw herself, especially the stuff she had going on, like junkies she tried to help, which is the reason she lost her baby, people who do shady stuff and ruin other people's lives when they are supposed to be helping, or people who don't appreciate their own lives. But yeah, that's the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about Jill becoming Jigsaw before she died. Do you think this would have helped her still be alive, especially against Hoffman? Like and share the video, subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Totally for sure.